Montgomery. Come on. A new way of thinking. Transform your mind. Straight from the vine. Fresh new wine.
Hello, I'm Ed Montgomery. Welcome to Fresh New Wine, and this is really fresh because I'm back in this chair, and let me tell you where I've been. For those of you who see this particular show and don't see the other shows on Sunday because I haven't been really talking that much on them. I got this cane, okay, and the reason I got this chain because it's almost like a chain. The reason I got this cane is because I had a knee replacement. They took out the old knee, they sawed it out, took the whole thing out. Oh, goodness. Put a whole brand new in. There are a lot of you who have had knee replacements. Some of you can say, I had one. How do you feel? Tell me after about 3 weeks how you feel. How was it for you? You know, you can type your comments in, let me know. And also hit like if you're watching this, like it, and let me know. And if you ever had anything replaced, you could have had a hip replacement. Let me know if you had them. Isn't that something that's, I guess, and it's not just older people. People say, well, that's what older people sit there and talk about their hip replacement. No. There are athletes that do a lot of stuff like that. People have to get stuff like that done. So, no. But that's where I have been, and it gets it gets tiring. You got to learn to walk again. You got to learn how to do certain things again, and all of that kind of stuff. So holler at me. Let me know what's going on out there. And thank you so much for holding the fort down. I think I was off last week. I think they snuck a vacation in on me. They didn't tell me. I've been kind of down and kind of out of it, you know. But whatever it is, and whatever, you know, we're constantly coming at you week after week after week. I just came off of a thing about whiteness, blackness. I've been and talking about and race, and I see racism and whiteness as two different things, or white supremacy. I don't like the term. I don't like to use it. I don't like to talk about anything that thinks it's so supreme. But it's the thought process that out there. It's the name of the demon. So sometimes you got to name the demon in order to deal with the demon. You know what I mean? You got to name it. And so people will say, well, I don't feel supreme. It doesn't matter. This is what they attributed to you. This is how it happened. This is how it began. Back in the 1600s, they began this way. They began to see everybody that was enslaved. Of course, you had your, white line that came over in 1619. People were enslaved, and they were enslaved, but they also had people who they shipped over from England who were also out of prisons. England didn't ship over the best of the best. No, they shipped over their imprisoned people and things of that sort, and they became indentured servants. Notice indentured servants, you say, well, see, that's what black people, no, black people were not indentured servants. Indentured servants means you got a period of time that you serve, and you can, in other words, the time you serve is the time that you use to buy back your freedom, and they give you some land, and you go on and make you a life. And because you have light skin, you can blend in. But if you're dark, you will forever be somebody that is suspected to be an enslaved person. Even if they give you papers, people are going to always ask you, well, can I see your papers? Who gave you these papers? What does it say? And if you read them, you're not supposed to read. It's against the law for you kind of people to read. And then they tear up your papers, and what you going to do? You're going to sit there and get Scotch tape. Scotch tape has not been invented. What you going to do? Go back to the owner and say, I need some more papers because they tore up my papers. It was illegal for them to tear up your papers, but they tore them up anyway. They didn't care because you can't take them to court. There was laws that people who were darker than the other people, you cannot take them to court. You cannot testify against them. These were laws back in the 1600s. And after a while, we had talked about the word and what we didn't get to the back. and I'll probably talk about this coming up Sunday, is that word became flesh and dwelt among us. That's who Jesus is considered to be. Jesus is considered to be the Word of God, the Word of the Father, the Word of the Creator, the Word of the Creator of the ends of the earth, the Word of the Almighty becoming flesh. And it says, and we beheld God, we beheld him as the only begotten, in other words, the begotten of the Father. The word became flesh. In other words, a good word can become good flesh. But listen to this. A bad word can become bad flesh. An evil word can become an evil flesh. The kind of word that is being distracting can become distracting flesh. One thing is a word becomes another in flesh. And what we have to be able to do in this generation right now is speak a word to shed light on where there are other words that are out there trying to bring darkness. Look at what's going on out there. Streets are aflame on fire. People are feeling dissected, deluded. They're distracted from things. It's like almost a type of nervousness that's out there. This president, whatever he's doing, seems to be distracting people from everyday things. And the rest of the parts of the government, something coming out every single day to keep people back on their heels. Well, let me tell you something. Those of you who have a word inside of your mouth, in other words, where that you've learned that this kind of message, that this kind of Christianity that we have out there is not the right kind of Christianity. Now, who are you to say what's the right kind of Christianity? It's not that it's who I am to say the right kind of Christianity. It's the fact that I'm saying anything that's dissecting people, that's taking people and pulling them apart instead of pulling them together with love. There's something wrong with that Christianity. There's something wrong with the Christ that we are telling people, you need to get on your knees and you need to pray to this Jesus and this Jesus alone. This is the only Jesus that will help you. What do you mean it's the only Jesus that will help you? Are you saying, Dr. Ed, there's more than one Jesus? What I'm saying, if the only Jesus you know is a Jesus that will come down and beat the hell out of folk, and that's all, and to be walking knee deep in the blood of people, that's the only a war Jesus. You don't know a love Jesus. You don't know a Jesus who knows how to overcome evil with good and knows how to use that power to move mountains. You don't know that Jesus. First of all, the name Jesus is Greek. It comes from that's not his name. If you were to follow Jesus throughout the time where he was on the earth, it would be Yahshua. Yeshua. And if you said Jesus would not turn, he would not answer you because unless he understood Greek, which he did. But anyway, this is what we're after. How are we going to deal with this world, especially coming up to these next elections? How are we going to deal with a country, with a state that doesn't even have the ability to look at one of the morals of a person that they have running for office? And the person is just absolutely sickening, morality-wise, and would still vote for them because you feel that God is in it. What kind of God is this? All I know, if you got an evil word and it becomes flesh, it can become some evil flesh. And that evil flesh can do things in this country that you have never seen before. We better start flipping these words, flipping these evil words, bad words, flipping that other kind of word and start putting in some good word. That's what John Lewis said, good trouble, start putting in some good word. Look, I got to go, and I'll talk to you later. I'm going to go back and do some of my exercises. Get on my cane. Hello, my friends. I'm Ed Montgomery. You know me, Pastor Ed, Dr. Ed. Thank you so much for doing what you do and contributing from your heart. People think giving comes from the pocket. Never has. It comes directly from the heart. In the world that we're living in right now, so many changes, so many things happening that will make us lose our faith. Listen, I've got to teach more than I've ever taught. Stay online more than I've ever been online. Because it's not just going to be enough to encourage. We're reteaching the faith. That's right, reteaching the faith. Because we have to begin to strengthen the teaching so that people who've never heard this gospel like this before can hear it and continue to move on. So when you give, you're pushing me and telling me and challenging me to keep going forward. Take a moment, go to myalc.org. That's myalc.org, myalc.org, and go ahead and click that donate button. It is safe, it is secure, and not only that, but it only takes just a couple of minutes, maybe even a few seconds for those of you that are already signed up. Or if you want to use your phone, wherever you're watching or however you're watching, you can use text to give. And that's 713-742-2035, 713-742-2035. Or you can go old school and you can write a check and send it in to Abundant Life Center or Ed Montgomery. It doesn't go into my pocket, it goes into our ministry. 772-300, Houston, Texas, 77215. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for what you already do. I am praying for you, and I'm praying the best over your gift and over the offering. And I pray that abundance will continue to flow in your life in so many different ways. It'll warm your heart. God bless you.